Okay, let's just admit it, the word networking probably makes you cringe a little bit. You're not alone, I promise. Most of us get this picture in our heads of what it is, and it's usually not a good one. But what if we've been thinking about it all wrong? What if there's a way to do it that doesn't suck? Let's get into it.
This right here is probably the #1 thing that stops us cold. It's that little voice in your head that says you're being an interruption, an inconvenience. And you know what? It's a totally valid feeling, but it's based on a completely broken idea of what networking is supposed to be.
So, where did this awful reputation even come from? We've all been sold this version of networking that just feels, well, it feels kind of gross, right? Let's break down exactly why it has such a bad name.
I mean, you know the scene, don't you? The sticky floors, the warm white wine, trying to break into a circle of people who already know each other. It's being forced to do things like go to a sporting clays event and get handed a shotgun when you've never even held one before, all in the name of making connections. It feels like a performance, and frankly, it's exhausting.
And because that's the image we all have, of course, we come up with all these perfectly good reasons to just not do it. I don't have time. I'm an introvert. It just feels awkward. Look, these aren't just excuses. They're symptoms of a totally broken model. If your approach to networking makes you feel this way, you're not the problem. The approach is.
So what's the fix? Well, it all starts with a huge mindset shift. We're going to stop trying to force this broken strategy and start doing something that actually feels natural, authentic, and, believe it or not, genuinely effective. I'm serious. Just take a second and ask yourself this. What if it has absolutely nothing to do with those crowded rooms or that awkward small talk? What if it's not about being some super extrovert with a perfect elevator pitch? Let's just redefine the whole thing right here, right now. Here it is. This is the core shift, the big idea. It's moving from a mindset of taking to a mindset of giving. The old broken model is all about, what can I get out of this person? A job, a lead, a favor. It's so transactional. The new way just flips that script entirely. You start by asking, what can I offer? And that simple change, it feels generous, it builds real trust, and it's something you can actually keep doing without burning out.
And look, this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. This is actually hardwired into our psychology. There's a ton of research on this, like Robert Cialdini's famous work on influence. It shows that when you give first, with no strings attached, it creates this natural human desire for the other person to give back. It's not manipulation. It's literally the foundation of how we build trust with each other.
Okay, so giving sounds great, but what does that actually look like? What can you give? Just remember the acronym AIR. You can give advice based on your unique experience. You can make introductions, connecting two people who would really benefit from knowing each other. Or you can offer recommendations for a great book, a podcast, or even just a person you think is awesome. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has AIR to give.
All right, so you've got this generous mindset in place. Now let's talk about the actual conversation. This is where we change the game, turning it from a pitch into a real human connection.
Yep, this is always the next hurdle, isn't it? Even if you want to be generous and curious, just starting the conversation can feel super intimidating. But the good news is, you really don't need some perfect script. You just need a better place to start.
So where do you begin? Here's the secret. You don't start with strangers. The easiest place to begin is with your dormant ties. Think about it. Former coworkers, old college friends, people you knew a while back but have kind of lost touch with. There's already a foundation of trust there, which makes reconnecting the perfect, low-stakes way to practice this new approach.
Your goal in these conversations is not to impress anyone. Your goal is just to understand them. This quote from Ted Lasso is the perfect mantra. Just be curious. When you approach a conversation with genuine curiosity, all that pressure to perform just melts away. You're just there to learn about them.
So how do you show that curiosity? It's really simple. You use open-ended questions. Questions like these aren't about you at all. They invite the other person to share what's really going on in their world, and that is how you discover ways to offer that AIR we were just talking about. Okay, so we have the giving mindset, we have the conversation starters. Now let's put it all together into a simple, repeatable system, a loop that you can use over and over again without even thinking about it. This is the whole playbook right here. 5 simple steps. 1, you reconnect with someone you already know. 2, you have a conversation where you just listen. 3, you find a way to give them some AIR. 4, and this is key, when they ask how they can help you, you're specific. And that specificity often leads to an introduction, which brings you to step 5. You just repeat the loop. It's a cycle that just builds and builds on itself. Now, having a system is great, but a system only works if you actually use it. The real magic happens when you make these small actions a consistent part of your normal routine. And this does not have to take over your life. Forget about spending hours at those awkward events. All you really need is about 15 minutes a day. Seriously. That's enough time to find one person and send one simple reconnection message. That's the whole habit.
Because one thoughtful message a day, done consistently, is so much more powerful than a frantic burst of networking once a year when you're feeling desperate. It's the small, steady steps that create incredible momentum over time. And here's why this all matters so much. Here's the big payoff. This kind of networking isn't just something you do when you need a job. You should think of it as your career insurance policy. You build it slowly, over time, so that when a challenge finally comes, and it always does, right? A layoff, a career change, you already have a support system in place, ready to go.
So let's end with this. Forget all the overwhelm. Forget the excuses. Just think. Who is one person, just one dormant tie, a former colleague, an old friend from school, that you can send a simple message to right now? A simple, "Hey, was just thinking of you. How have you been?" That's not networking. That's just being a good human. And that, right there, is where this whole thing begins.